So just about ready for Fiji against England, the opening game in Pool B, and this is how the Fijians start. They're starting 7, and England led by Abigail Brown. There's some very experienced players in there. Emily Scarrett, great player in 15s and 7s, and that is the starting 7 for England. And Fiji in the women's game, perhaps not quite as talented a side as they have in the men's, but they are getting better as well. And this may be a very interesting opener for England.
They're perhaps not quite matching the flair of their male counterparts. One thing they do have in an absolute abundance is physicality. And Naya Basale, number 2 for them, she puts in some shots that are thunderous. This England team must move them around, use their superior skill set, but ultimately stay away from those flying Fijians.
Now, much of the difficulty for England, and indeed for most of the sides in the women's 7s, is finding regular competition. Amy Barrett is the referee for this one. And they've lost one of the legs of the 7 series. They used to play in Las Vegas, but that's gone. So there's a bit of a gap between Sydney and the next and this competition, and then Japan is next week back to the 7 series. But they do play. They played an invitational tournament in Brisbane at the start of February, and it will be England that get us underway here. Natasha Hunt with the start, and a decent start it is as well. Comes back on the English side, and Deborah Fleming. So England with a first opportunity, and then the Fijian defence racing up, creates the opportunity, and carried in by Jessica Breach. And England threatening, space appearing out wide, and the ball eventually finding its way to Fleming, and Fleming has the power to go over for the opening try. Great start for England.
Well, mentioned it's about getting game time. It's also about getting good players. They've got a young smattering of some players here that haven't played a huge amount of rugby. Fleming being one of them, but that is an adept finish on the outside of the flying Fijians. You mentioned staying away from those shoulders. The in and then the out, perfectly timed. That's a great score. This England team have underperformed well and truly this year. They know that. But this is a standalone tournament. 3 months they've had to think about it. The 15s players, such as Emily Scarrett, you can see there, bringing back into the 7s fold, give them time to train, get that confidence high, and they need to fly into this tournament to play as well as we know they can.
Let's go, 5 seconds.
So Hunt with the restart again, going the same way, but giving it a bit more beef, and out on the full mistake. And back they come for Fijian ball.
It's seen as an unforced error in 7s. If you kick that restart out, you straight away give possession in the middle of the field, and you do well to contain Fijians when they have this much time with their ball.
Let's go, White.
And Fiji being told to get on with it, so just a little stabbed start from Rokitha. And no way through for Priscilla Siata. And again, the red shirts flying up to put pressure on the ball carrier. This time it's now Basa. And Basali. It's an penalty to Fiji. So England set their defensive formation once again, and Fiji out wide with Siata. And moving again through Riwai. And a little loop around goes awry, and England seize upon it. It's good work by Heather Fisher. But again, the Fijian defence is pretty robust as well, and they secure ball now. Opportunity I think this might be the most even of games we've seen so far. Space appears through the talent and skill of Lavinia Tinai, but then goes loose and taken by Abigail Brown, the England captain. There is Fisher once again. Thumping tackle comes in from Riwai. A little knock on, England ball. But yes, this is not the one-sided romp that it was for Canada against South Africa or New Zealand against Kenya.
No, and these have been two teams who constantly are battling out for that third place, throwing Canada in the mix as well. The dominance that New Zealand and Australia consistently have on the series means that these games are so crucial. And it's not often you see Heather Fisher, one of the most courageous players on the game of rugby, both in 15s and 7s. She doesn't often get out-muscled, but she did there, which shows just how strong these Fijians are.
England, though, opportunity to come again as the tackles once again fly up. And again, that should create a little bit of space somewhere else. Taken in by Jessica Breach. And this time, Fisher gets away from the tackle. The ball is loose, though. Opportunity perhaps for Fiji to seize upon it, which they do through Naya Basali. And England scrambling their defence again this time. Fisher racing up, but then again the space appears and opportunity for Ruwali once more. Fiji pressurising into the final 2 minutes in this first half. Carried into the 22 by Siata. Handoff and offload, and dump tackle comes in on their captain Anna Rokitha, and penalty to England.
You can see when Fiji get the offloads going, they're a different side completely. England must be far better and more accurate, giving too many balls back to the opposition with these handling errors, and that's nerves, it's a little bit of fatigue, and it's a little bit of intimidation when you get these Fijians flying in. But this is very much a big hit for Megan Jones, putting the shoulder in. Always good to see some shots going in.
The crowd enjoyed that as well. Lifted up and then lowered gently to the ground. But scrum and Fiji ball, and a very, very promising attacking position here.
Come back on. Crouch.
You see both sets of players breathing hard. I think it's taking its toll. It's been played at, well, all sevens games are played at a good pace, but this one has been very physical as well. So Fiji rather losing their way for a moment, but then a bit of space appears for the powerful Rusila Nagasau. Step in field by Naya Basali. Fiji looking for something to end this first half. Just that one try so far. Cries of encouragement from the Fiji coaching staff, but no way through the red line at the moment. Then a little loop around and it might work now. As Riwali makes her way through and finds support, and Timaima Raivisa is in for the try. Conversion to come. Fiji may lead at half-time, and a deserved try for the pressure they've had in the last 2-3 minutes.
They're just so good at keeping the ball, this Fijian team. These little wrap plays they're doing where the player runs round, they're carving up this England team. When they change direction that many times, you're just chasing shadows. And it's great that Raivisa gets to score. She is their potent player, the one with the pace. So happy when she goes sevens. It's just brilliant to see Fijians smiling. Rugby ball in hand, scoring their tries. Joy to behold.
5.
And the conversion is wide. Again, the conversions are not far more difficult in sevens drop goal attempts, but that one should have been knocked over, and it may come down to a very fine margin, such as 2 points, but the conversion missed, and there was just time for the restart. Seconds are all it takes, so deep into overtime now, but England with an opportunity. And good power by Jessica Breach.
Keep
Fisher
going.
gets it going once again, and then the spill. That will be the end of the first half.
Back on.
So a try apiece, an unconverted try apiece, and at half-time, Fiji 5, England 5.
Last one in. Out.
Line a little bit and send in a little bit of line speed. So what we've got to do with that, still play wide, give yourself a little bit more depth and be physical, no offense. Go,
Yeah.
Physical, ABC play away. When we do that, we look great.
Yeah.
Okay, on defense, don't panic, just keep working your shape. Don't get
Captain Red.
So just about ready for the start of this second half. And what a half it promises to be. You fancy Australia to win this pool, but a rather scraggy looking restart, but it worked quite nicely, just bouncing over the 10-metre line. And Fiji have a secured ball. And Siata gives it on now to the captain, Anna Rokitha, and Fiji starting the second half strongly. Now Basali, but then the penalty
That's a release. Tackle was made.
given away. And England quickly onto the front foot. Good work by
No clear release.
Jessica Breach. And Fiji giving away a couple of penalties early on, which may hurt them. Scarrett gets it back, but just a bit messy at the start of the second half.
Yeah, and you could hear there at the half-time, James Bailey, their coach, well-versed with the game of sevens, talking about having patience, and Fijians can sometimes be a little bit indisciplined in how they play, and you can see when penalties come through, it gives the ball back to the English side. But once again, as we said in the first half, the English team giving the ball away there. The vastly experienced Emily Scarrett not able to keep hold of the ball, and again, that's all Fiji want. Give them a ball, give them a sevens pitch, and they're going to be pretty happy people.
Scrum works for Fiji. And little speedster Ravisa again makes her way through, but then the ball lost. Penalty though to Fiji, holding on to
Leave it.
the ball, and Fiji to the edge of the England 22. And just looked a bit lost for a moment, so a little chip through, and how does it bounce? Eventually finds its way to
No advantage.
Scarrett. They're playing advantage, so they'll come back.
Subs. Red 11.
You can see now just how tiring the game is. Tanibula looking on the Fijian team, who are emptying tanks. This English team, known for their fitness level, certainly the game of 15 sevens, is a different premise altogether.
Just make sure you stay in here.
A real name of rugby, Tanibula.
Red.
Good presence, and he's trying to grow this Fijian team. Benefited hugely in the women's side through the progression that both Ben Ryan and Chris Cracknell made. Two Englishmen got into the islands and they changed systems, they introduced professionalism, and the women and men certainly benefited from that.
Set.
So England under pressure with the ball though. And you wonder how the little spill, so an opportunity coming for Fiji.
No advantage.
So they'll have options either side of this scrum, just 10 metres from the England line. I was about to say how the England fitness might tell towards the end of this match, but they may be giving themselves a bit to do here. Real attacking position for the Fijians.
Yeah, and you know when you've got the likes of Ravisa, who did very well to turn the ball over, you've got that one-on-one. If you get a one-on-one in 10 metres of space, that is an absolute attacking win. When you can split each side of the pitch and have that either side, it's almost a case of if, not when.
So Fiji now, the pass a little bit loose, went backwards though, so it's safely gathered up by Riwai again, and then carried on by Siata. And England still under pressure, but they will have the scrum. Little Fijian knock on, and that's a wasted opportunity for Fiji, but England grateful to survive.
Yeah, it is. And Heather Fisher personified in how she hits this. Not satisfied with the tackle, goes for the rip as well. As soon as that ball is lost in contact, it's deemed a knock-on for the Fijians. You've got to be so tight with that ball in your grip. And when you've got Heather Fisher all over you like a rash, it can be very difficult. She is uncompromising, to say the very least.
So changes being made. So Amy Wilson-Hardy scuttling on. In fact, Fisher's going off now, replaced by Wilson-Hardy. Yes, you can't overstate, again, for those of you who may be fairly new to sevens, just how aerobically challenging it is compared to the 15s game. And that's when bodies get tired towards the end, space might appear. But again, England mistakes, went backwards, says the referee, and well, it had to be good work, and it is very, very good work by Megan Jones, and a chance now for England to come, and what a try this is going to be. And the race is surely going to be won, and it will be from one end of the pitch to the other. Emily Scarrett under the post, and that is a huge blow for Fiji and a huge boost for England, because they were, let's say, in their own in-goal area. Look at this.
And this is where people like Emily Scarrett really step up. Jones beats two, gets the offload, which is so important. Once that ball's popped up, a difficult catch for Scarrett. She's looking down the barrel of 80 metres of grinding it out. She knows the Fijians will come through. You've got to keep your head down, keep strong, pick those knees up, which are admirably covered with some sort of pads that she wears. Heather Fisher on the sideline, living every emotion as she always does. But that is Scarrett stepping up for this England team, as she needed to do. It's not been the best performance, but they've now got that crucial 7-point lead with the approaching 2 minutes left of this game.
And in a game as close as this, you look at that fairly simple conversion of the Fijian try at the end of the first half that was missed. And it may well come down to that, but that is a huge boost for England, and a beautiful restart as well, just hanging just over the 10-metre line. And again, a reminder, if you're fairly new to sevens, tries can come so quickly that 2 minutes, well, you could still have 4 tries in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it really is relentless in the pursuit of scoring these tries. The other thing we've got to mention at this point of the game is England would have been coming into this game knowing they have to beat Fiji. It's almost expected that the Australian game is a very different prospect. So these games, all important, 2 teams qualify, and this could well be battle for the second place in their pool.
Yeah, that's the next game up is Australia against Wales.
Take a step back.
And Australia is so impressive at the moment.
Set.
Running away with the World Sevens series. England secure the ball. And how important that might be. And a penalty to England as well.
30 seconds you get to take the penalty, and I expect this England team to take every single millisecond of those. That ball will not move and shouldn't move. Ball coming out the tunnel, normally that gets played again, referee let it go, and then penalises the Fijians in that instance for falling down in behind the ball. But that is crucial decision at the breakdown, so often a pivotal part of the game.
So towards the final 30 seconds, oh, so nearly an interception, but it works now for England. And it may well be another try, and it will be the winning try, the decisive try. And Lydia Thompson is in. And England now beyond the reach of Fiji. and heading to their opening victory.
It's a lovely outside ball. That's what you need. Flying Fijians, as we always know, they're going to go for these interceptions, but they don't get it, you can concede the other way. Lydia Thompson doing the damage out. But it's a lovely line by the captain, Abby Brown. Gets on that outside line, looks where the defence is. Inside ball to Thompson, and then crucially runs back outside where the space was left. Good score, crucial score. Not the best performance, but ultimately a win for this England team.
Yeah, that's a fine margin of 7s there. Nearly an interception to bring a Fijian try to draw level. The conversion is wide, but it is victory for England. And as Rob was saying, such an important win, because it'll be tough to challenge Australia, maybe looking for second place in this pool. England off to a good start, winning by 17 points to 5.